Let's get to the phone, shall we? Cindy is joining us now in Memphis, Tennessee. Cindy, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
I know.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm super nervous, but I'm good. I'm so happy to talk to you.
Well, I'm happy to talk to you, and you're doing great. Nothing to be nervous about. I'm here to help. So what's on your mind today?
Well, I need help.
Okay. Boy, so do I.
I know. I think we all do at this point. So I am a 43-year-old girl, woman, whatever.
Sure.
And I don't know what to do. I spent the last 12 years at home with my kiddos and the last 5 caregiving for my father-in-law who has passed. So that situation is over. He lived with us.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's been rough, but we're moving forward because that's what he would want. He's a very positive person. I spent 7 years before all of that teaching, which, needless to say, 12 years ago, teaching was a different animal. I worked in a really kind of rough part of Memphis, and I thought that was kind of my main problem with teaching, and I kind of had a love-hate relationship with it, and I always intended to return. Well, I tried to, and it did not work out. I got a job at a really great school system in Memphis, and I was worked to death. And then I had missed out on 12 years of raises.
Yeah.
And I wasn't making anything. And
what were you making?
I was making $50,000 a year.
And what did work to death look like? I want the audience to understand this because this is happening all across the nation.
It is, and it's really worrying me as a mom and a former teacher because I have watched teachers leave. I was the third one to leave by Christmas in a fantastic school system. I will not give the name,
Sure.
But I thought I had it made by getting this job. I was so happy. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was either making videos, watching videos, making PowerPoints, grading papers, putting stuff into our computers or whatnot for the kids. And then I was coming home, and I was working until at least 5 or 6 o'clock at night, if not later. Often I was putting my kids to bed and working some more.
Grading papers, or what kind of stuff was causing you to be working after hours?
A lot of the planning and just paperwork of things. I was an ELA and a history teacher, and they threw co-teach at me, which I had never done before, all in 1 year.
So is that what was different between 12 years ago when you stepped out of it to come home? The workload has definitely increased, and I'm trying to get to the heart of why. They're just putting more on teachers?
Yes. My expectations due mainly to testing were just out of control. Yeah. And these poor kids, I just felt like a robot. They were telling me how to do everything in my classroom. And so all the creativity that was me in my classroom was gone.
Yeah. And this is coming down from state bureaucracies and federal bureaucracies on what the teacher has to do?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. I didn't want to get us on too big of a rabbit trail, but thank you for sharing that. And so obviously, whatever you loved previously, now there was hardly any of that. Is that what I'm gathering?
It's all pretty much gone.
Yeah. All right. So what's the question?
Teaching. So now I'm lost.
Right.
I need Gandalf to just come and pick me up.
Well, I wish I had
on an adventure.
I wish I had the big white robe and the white hair and the staff right now. But I think the answer lies with what you loved about teaching when you did love it. And what was that? How would you describe what part you loved about teaching when you actually loved it?
Well, and I was thinking about that the other day because I was listening to a previous call you had taken. I don't know when it was. But you asked the girl when she felt joy. And I loved teaching history. Okay. I was an ELA and a history teacher. Okay. And I loved teaching history because kids hate history, right? But I had a way of doing this that my kids loved history and they understood it and they got that it was more than names and dates, and I loved it. But that doesn't really seem attainable.
It does. It does to me. And so that's where I'm going to challenge your context. So basically, you did a great job of setting it up. What gave you joy when you were teaching? And you got super specific with history, but the real answer, if I pull back, is I just love the actual creativity that I was able to put into instruction. And I made history interesting and creative and fun, so the kids grabbed it, right? So what your real answer was, my favorite part's not the grading of the papers, obviously. It's not the lesson planning. Maybe that's a part of it, but it's really about the creative instruction. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
What you went, so tell me.
I just don't know how I'm going to teach.
Oh, no. I'm trying to get you there. I'll get you there. Here's my point. That was your favorite part. It's taking something and having fun in making it fun to learn. Yes? Is that a good way of describing your joy?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I like making people joyful and understanding about the things that I love.
Okay, great. So there's probably a lot of topics, a lot of interest that you have, and there's always a way to take that interest, that knowledge, and then instruct someone else. So you have to get your mind out of the traditional K through 12 school system, and maybe you don't even consider college. But what about the world of the corporate world where there are trainers all over the place? I mean, you think about training, guiding, instructing. There's a lot of ways to guide, train, instruct that aren't in a traditional K through 12 or college model. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, then.
But I'm having a hard time, and I sound spoiled.
That's okay. Hard time with what?
I'm having a hard time, thinking about not having the same schedule as my kiddos.
What's the schedule they have?
Well, I mean, they go to public schools, so
they're out at what, 2:33 or something like that, 3:00.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's not even that. It's like we just had all this snow. I mean, you guys know, y'all had it in Nashville too.
Yeah.
And nobody had to call in. Nobody had to worry. We just stayed at the house and we were a family.
Okay. So do you have to make a certain amount of money, or is this just, hey, I'm ready to get out of the house and do something fun?
It's just kind of, hey, look, okay, so my husband is a fantastic electrician. Shout out to anybody in the trade.
Come on. I love it.
If you're looking for something to do, go into the trade.
All right.
Amazing thing.
So I have an idea. Do you have any interest, hobby level interest, things that you care about doing, like maybe exercise or food?
I do.
Okay. So give me an example of something that you are really interested in, that you do on a regular basis. It's something you'd go, I'm pretty jazzed about this.
Okay, so I am insane. I grew 4 50-foot-long rows of cut flowers last year, and I sold them for the first time.
Interesting.
And I sold out every day that I posted flowers.
Well, why don't you just do that for right now? And then maybe look for opportunities to do some type of instruction that you can do. Yeah. Like you could instruct a yoga class. You could instruct a something class for maybe, is there an English language class that you could instruct? And it just keeps you active and it keeps you busy, and you can set your schedule so that you're home when the kids come home. I think it's that simple. But you always need to be thinking about, how can I teach or train somebody on something? Because I'm just natural at it. I'm good at it. And so all we're looking for is a problem that grips your heart a little bit. Well, that bothers me. We need more people to help train these people to this. And you go, I connect to that, and I can do that. And that's all you're doing. That's all you're looking for.
I'm a little worried about doing this with the flowers. And I was telling somebody else about this.
What are you worried about?
I'm like, well, what if I can't fill these orders? And
then only take enough orders that you can fill. You go, all right, I know I can. If I take 10 orders in 6 weeks, I know I can do that with no problem. You just take your time.
Yeah.
But because you're just looking for some opportunities to get out and work and just do something fun, here's your homework assignment. Okay, I want you to think of the causes, the issues, the problems that kind of pull at your heart, and you go, how can I get involved in teaching, instructing those people who are dealing with that problem. I think that's going to present a lot of fun activities for you. So don't overthink this. Do what you enjoy doing. It'll take care of itself.